Hey, you all. Good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time zone you're in. Hello. Hi, how are you? Today we're back again, of course, another topic, another day. So
Hey,
I'm giving the honors to him. His discussion and questions for me. Go ahead, my guy.
what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today? Yes, we are back again with another episode. Yes, and today we're going to talk about being a parent and being disabled. Hmm. I know a lot of y'all out there today might have a bunch of questions about being a parent and being disabled. So, my first question for you, Miss Tia, is when you first became a parent and you are disabled. What were your feelings? How did you feel?
Honestly, to give you the honest truth, I
Hmm.
was I was happy, but I was scared.
Okay, okay, okay.
And the reason I say I'm happy is because like we all see on the movies and on TV shows and like in the
Hmm.
world where it's always these parents with their kids and how happy they seem to be. So I thought, of course, that's what I'm about to experience.
Hmm.
And then the reason I say like scary or so nervous, I should say,
Hmm.
is because I didn't particularly know if my child was gonna come out to me just like me.
Hmm. Do
That itself is a lot.
do you feel as though being a parent with a disability and raising children, do you feel as though you have a bunch of obstacles that do you feel as though the obstacles are different? What you had to overcome as a child being disabled and now being a parent and disabled, do you feel the obstacles are different?
Yeah, yeah.
And in what way do you feel that these obstacles are different?
Cause in a way, it's like I'm not only looking out for my well being as far as me,
Hmm.
my work here, my this, my that. I'm
Hmm.
also looking out for well, being held accountable for now I have a child that has the same thing.
Mm,
And then on
okay.
top of that, I have another child that doesn't have it. So it's just like I'm
Mm,
dealing with a lot,
mhm. Do
a
you
lot.
feel do you feel as though as you being a disabled mom that the world is less, how can I put it? The world is maybe I can say less like because we already got obstacles that we already have to overcome. Like, do you feel as though that the obstacles, do you feel as though that the obstacles have much so changed or are the same?
Um. Okay. Now, what was your meaning again?
Like when I say when you feel as though have the obstacles change, like okay, what we had to deal with coming up as the
Oh,
disabled person versus what our children have to deal with. But this time to throw the curveball is that you're a parent with a disability. Do you feel those obstacles have changed drastically or are they still the same?
wow. Yeah. Wow. I'll say it depends on how you think about it. You know, the reason I say that is because I love to be open because you never know
Hmm.
anybody's mental or what state of mind they coming from.
Hmm.
And what I mean when I say that is it is I don't know. I'm gonna put it in perspective of like when I went to Mexico.
Hmm.
Of course, here at home, we used to how we do things.
Hmm.
We got our, you feel me? We see people outside with chairs doing their thing, out to eat, shopping, doing their whole little giddy up.
Hmm.
But for instance, when I went there, I didn't see not one person, nobody.
Oh,
So
wow. Uh-huh.
as I started venturing a little more and
Hmm.
seeing more places, I wondered like, hold on, like what's going on?
Hmm.
Are they just being shut out, closed in the house? or
Mm-hmm.
is it something else I don't know about? And I still don't know if that something else I don't know about exists, but I feel like it do. And the reasons I feel like it do is because, hold on, the transportation out there is totally different. For one,
Okay.
I couldn't see nobody in a wheelchair getting on that bus or traveling or doing whatever they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible. One thing that like mind fucked me a little bit, excuse my language,
Mm-hmm. Go
was
ahead.
like you know how like our buildings are made accessible for us?
Right, right, right.
They had like buildings accessible, like ramp style, but other than that, that was it.
So you
And of
saying
course
so?
they had elevators, but you saw nobody.
But you.
Nobody like us nowhere.
Mm-hmm. So you saying like if you go to a mall, like if we go to stores here, certain stores have the automatic button that you push and the door opens. So you saying that they didn't have that when you went to Mexico?
Yeah, certain places it wasn't
Oh
there.
wow, that's. Do you feel? How do you feel about the disability culture as a parent?
I feel like oh man, this is a tough question. I feel like it needs a lot of change.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like us that really care can make that change.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I feel like I still feel like it's a gap, like this nudge that just gotta be patched up,
Mm-hmm.
and everything will be alright.
So by you saying that there's a gap, like how would you fill that gap?
Mental health,
Mental health. Okay. Yeah, mental health does play
a huge part.
a huge part. So my next question to you is how do you think that disability culture as a whole in the United States, in the United States, how do you feel like the disability culture has played its role in the US? Like when I say it played its role in the US, going from where the ADA was implemented back in the 90s till now, like how do you feel as though that the disability culture has shaped the US? Do you feel like people are more aware of the disability culture or they still have to learn, or there's still a lot of learning that needs to be done?
It's a humongous amount of learning that needs to be done.
Hmm.
And I remember way back when I forgot who I was talking to when I had this conversation. And I think it might have just been you. I think it was you. When
Hmm.
I was saying something about it being implemented in schools.
Right.
But I don't think it'll ever get to that point. That would be a big move, no lie. But I feel like that'll do something big. That'll make a big change because not only is it every other or every third or every fifth household that knows, like bingo,
Mm-hmm.
everybody know off rip. It's like, come on now, and it's so sad to me in a way because it's just like, okay, hold on, y'all speak about slavery, y'all speak about presidential, y'all speak about all these other aspects, but the most common, as far as life itself,
Hmm.
come on now. I mean, you can be so-called regular or perfect, go down the street, pow, get smacked by a car. Next thing you know, you in the chair. Oh, but
Mm.
they didn't teach you about that in school, huh?
No, no, they don't. They don't teach that in school at all.
Yeah, and that's why, and it's so sick because it's like going through the aspect is up to yourself to do your research, and of
Mhm.
course, not knowing a person's condition, they're peoples, and some peoples not actually peoples. I'm just being honest.
Do you feel
Cause
in the
I got
dis
family that I don't call family.
Right, but do you feel in the disability culture as a disabled mom and and having children, do you feel that sometimes being disabled that we are dehumanized?
To a certain point.
And to what point would that be?
To a certain point. Uh, you keep making me go down these little tunnels that I ain't used to going down. Okay. Uh, when I said something about mental health, when I said something about the whole little perfect thing, when
Hmm.
I said something about what else did I mention? I don't know. It's just like it's like say you in this bubble, right?
Hmm.
Say you in this bubble, and this bubble is just you, nobody
Hmm.
else. But
Right.
you can see everything else. But just know this everything else that you see is perfect.
Okay. Okay.
So it's kind of like who can I relate to?
Right.
And I don't just mean the pros. I mean the cons as well.
Hmm.
Nobody talks about this.
No, they don't.
Nobody speaks about
They
this.
I
Nobody
believe.
highlights these narratives or these perspectives.
Right.
Nobody.
No,
And it's
I'm a.
crazy because not to cut you out, but it's crazy
Go.
how like the election and certain stuff being put off will make people now aware to us. I think that's crazy.
It
I don't buy
takes.
it.
I understand why you don't buy it, but it also takes, there are people out here, even in politics, when it comes to I think sometimes they use the disabled community and the disabled culture as a stepping stone when it comes to political, you know, and that's to me, first of all, to me as a father of a 13-year-old and
Mm-hmm.
disabled, it's had my challenges as well, raising a son and same thing that you said, having to worry about whether if my son is going to turn out with what I had. Thank God he didn't, but still trying to figure out, well, how am I going to raise my son as a disabled father, and trying to instill the things that needs to be instilled with him to him as it was instilled to me. So it's kind of hard, but you got to find ways to get around it, you know. So I do my best as a father. You can only do your best as a father, especially when you are disabled.
Yeah. And I actually, now that you said that, I kind of wanted to get your perspective on the question I have for you.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Okay, now how do you feel being a disabled father in raising a regular child? I mean, it been any judgment, anything that just made you think like, huh?
I wouldn't say it's judgment. I would say it has its challenges, yes.
Well, question.
Because when when I say it has its challenges, me having a disability that I have and watching my son do the things that he do I get upset because my body will not allow me to do those things? Yes. Um, do I have to figure out other ways to do it? Yes. There's a lot of things that I've seen okay, for prime example for me, tidbit about me, I can't ride a bike. I watch my son ride a bike, but I can't ride one. So it's like that's a challenge for me is being a father and having a disability because you might want to take this on a bike ride and go on 5 to 7 bike rides and you can't do that. Well, I can't do that. To watch him do it himself. And does that bother me sometimes? Yes. Going out and being a father and sometimes having to use a assistive device like I use a power chair and have to deal with my son having the people look at me because I'm rolling around in a wheelchair and he's walking. You know, that really does that does something to a child, especially especially it does something to my son because my son said to me, Dad, I feel some type of way because everybody's always looking at you and everybody's always staring at you. And the metaphor that I gave my son to actually try to help them get over it. I said if they staring and they looking and then at the end of the day, hey, I'm a celebrity to them, you know, and that's a little metaphor that I gave him to try to ease his mind. But I also told him, listen, don't worry about what people think about me. As long as you think of me the way you think of me, that's all that I'm worried about. I can't worry
Yeah.
about what everybody else think about me. You are my son, and I have to think about what you think of me.
Yeah.
And that's how I got past that. But being a father and being disabled, yes, it has its challenges. It definitely does. Um, there are so many. I feel as though in this day and age and the disability culture, they feel as though that being a disabled parent, they feel as though it's not a gift. Actually, it is. Being parents, we can do the same things that any other parent can do. We just have to do them differently. You know,
Mhm.
and when I say that, I mean like prime example, taking your child to the doctor. Going to the
Hold
doctor
on,
with your
wait.
child.
I didn't know we were about to jump in there yet. Hold on, give me a second.
I
Cause I was waiting.
think her camera got disconnected. And gentlemen, she'll be back though. We just gonna wait for her to come back. How about that? Ah, there she is.
Yeah, my bad. I put you
No,
by
no,
my
no.
accident.
It's all
But
right.
you
It's
go
all right.
ahead.
It's
You
all
go
right.
ahead.
Like I was saying, she's back, y'all. She had a little mishap, but she's back. Um, being a parent and they taking your child to the doctor, it's I've had my adventure with that. I call that an adventure because sometimes it is an adventure. Um, when you take your child to the doctor and the doctor looks at you and like, oh, this your child? Yeah, this is my child. When you're sitting in the room and the doctor looks at you and the doctor looks at your child and they'll be like, "Oh, it's amazing how you." No, it's not it's not amazing how we had our children. We have our children the same way everybody else do. There's no different. Once again, to everybody out there, we just have to do it differently. It's never going to be the same on how you as a person, firstly, as a person with a disability, secondly, as a parent, nothing's ever going to be the same on how you do it. You always have to come up with different ways to do it. But what I don't like is when you taking your child to the doctor and the doctor looks at you up and down to say, as to, it's more so having the notion as to say, you of all people had a child. Yes, me of all people had a child. And yes, I'm going to raise my child to the best of my ability. I am a parent
As
before,
usual.
but I am a parent just like everybody else. But to have this stigma of, oh my God, you're disabled and you have a child, I think the world needs to get rid of that stigma because that's a bad stigma to have. You know, we have to be we as parents and disabled parents, yes, we have to take our children to the hospital. Yes, we do go on class trips with our children. Yes, we do go on vacations with our children. We are as much of a parent than anybody else in this world. Yes, we have our limitations. Yes,
Yeah,
we
and
can't.
it definitely is. It
Yes,
definitely
we
can be harder.
yes, it makes things a little harder. But the one thing that I can say is being a parent and being disabled, we always find ways to prevail and get over the things and the humps that we need to. Um, One thing that I can say is that I just wish this world would stop looking at us as disabled people. Yes, because we already know we are disabled, but look at us as everyday people. That's how I feel about it in my heart. I feel as though that I think that this world needs to look at us as everyday people. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna give you two examples that just
mhm,
came to mind. I remember. Okay, I had to take my daughter to the hospital a
mhm,
little while ago, and the doctor noticed, like, the whole part where you gotta take your clothes off. I don't like going to the doctor, but she had to take her clothes off, so he noticed a bruise that she had, like, on her tummy. And
mhm,
he kind of looked at me worried, like, "You okay, bitch? You okay?" I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. He said, it looks like everything healed up. I said, yeah, it healed up. I knew what to do.
Hmm.
And he laughed a little bit. He was like, oh, well, that's great. That's great. He was like, you don't have no questions? I said, nope. He said, look like you take care of things quite well. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then I think he said something on the meaning of asking what happened to her.
Hmm.
Hey, she had a bruise on her belly.
Hmm.
Mommy did what mommy was supposed to do. It's
Exactly.
healed. Nothing else needs to be talked about. It's healed.
Right. Hmm. But just speaking of that, what bothers me the most when we have to take our children to the doctor? It's the when you sit in front of the doctor's face and you want to ask the doctor these questions, but at the same time you gotta hold back because you don't know on the other side, on the flip side of it, what the doctor is going to be thinking, what the doctor is going to say. Um, it's like when you walk in the doctor's office with your child, you literally have to feel like you have to walk on eggshells sometimes because one, like I said, one, we are disabled parents. And when we walk in the doctor's office, it's like, "Oh, here we go with these questions. Let me think about my answer before I answer these questions." But
Right.
these questions that he's asking, and if I give the wrong answer, you have a fear of these questions, and these answers can go left. And
Yeah,
I
that's true.
believe I believe that being a parent and being disabled, you shouldn't have a fear of asking the doctors questions about your child that you brought into this world. You should be able to go to the doctor and ask the doctor questions. Hey, doc, this is what's going on with my child, and not have a fear of feeling like you got to walk on eggshells when you ask these questions because you don't never know what the doctor on the flip side is going to do or say to people.
Okay, I'm gonna raise my hand like me in class because I got a good point to make. I ain't gonna lie. My one question that I always wanted to ask the doctor,
Uh,
precisely when it came to me and my kids, was
mhm.
what is a natural way I can deal with this versus taking that medicine? Because
Mm.
I get so mad. Look, I don't care what nobody say. I get so mad when I realize they want to prescribe all these medicines. And I'm
Mhm.
like, hold on, you don't know if that and that can react and do something else or make her this way or what? So
Mhm.
it ain't no other way of dealing with this. Like that's my favorite question, but I never asked.
Um, yeah, pretty, yeah. You might on the spot with that because I remember like one time, my son had to go to the doctor and we had to pick up medicine for him, and the doctor was like, "Well, if you give him this will help this will help that." Okay, so me and his mom had a conversation about it. We was like, "Okay, we're gonna try it, and we're gonna watch him, and if by any chance that it has an adverse effect to off his mood, make him feel some type of way, anything along those lines. We calling the doctor and we gonna stop the medicine immediately and we're gonna figure something else out. Because sometimes when you look at these medications that they give these children and they say take this, and this, it has the label says don't do this because it may cause drowsiness, or hey, don't take with alcohol because your medication might do this, or don't drive because your medication may cause you drowsiness. I feel as though that.
And then hold on. I just want to shoot my shot real quick. If I'm taking this and they call it drowsiness, and I gotta wheel myself around all day, why in the hell would you give it to me?
Hmm.
I just be questioning because
And then sometimes when you don't take the medication, doctor's like, "Why you ain't take it? Cause man, I took it at home. You told me to take it at this time." I take it at this time, but I do take it at this time. I'm sleepy. We this is what we're not doing here. Like, so,
Crazy. It's crazy, man.
and sometimes I believe being disabled and they put you on medicine and they give you a regimen to take it, you have to make your own regimen sometimes to what's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the doctors be like, no, but you got to take it this way. No, doc, you're not the one that's taking this medication. I am,
Yeah,
and
once I learned that, like they get rid off surgery, like all they gotta
oh
do is
yeah, it's a
schedule
whole that's a
surgery, and
whole that's
that's
a
bankroll. I'm like,
listen.
oh, I'm done. I'm
But you
done.
but you know what I don't like when you are a parent and disabled, and this really has happened to me. Um, it happened to me first of all. Being disabled, one, and then you go to the doctor and you telling the doctor what's going on with your body, and the doctor's like, "Hold on, I have to go in the other room," and he goes online and he said, and he tells you to your face, "You had to Google it." So you're like, you had to Google it and you got your license to
Yeah.
practice medicine?
Ooh, I
Oh,
just thought about something.
bro.
I just thought about something. No, look, I forgot what happened. I forgot. I think it was something that happened. Something happened to one of the kids, but
Hmm.
something came to mind, and it just caught me in a moment. I'm like, hold on. I'm not sure what's wrong with my baby, but I know I can observe her to see
Hmm.
this, that, or whatever else.
Right.
So why would I go to this, you feel me, physician when they might not even know, you feel me, we going through the same thing.
Right.
Just so they can type on their little computer and figure out something that might be wrong.
Right.
No.
But at the same time, you got these. I remember growing up, and your doctor was so old. He had gray hair, bald spots. He didn't move as fast, but he was knowledgeable in what was going on with you. He was
Yeah,
knowledgeable in it. And the only way that I feel as though he was knowledgeable in it, you see, because if you took away all this technology, they had to hit the books. They had to hit the books. There was also scientific research that was going on about a disability and all of that. But now it's everything is so compartmentalized and computerized when it comes to being disabled and being a parent.
oh,
It
you just,
is it's a shame. Prime example, I remember when my son was first being born, and his mom, she had him, and after she had him, and the doctor says to you, type says to me, well, you have CP, yeah. His mom has this, yeah. So who's going to be home to take care of the child? Um, I kept telling the
that's
doctor,
crazy.
well, and I kept telling the doctor, well, I am. So at that point in time, as I'm saying I am. My sister-in-law walks into the room. She walks
Yeah,
into the room and she's listening to the conversation and she says, well, excuse me, doc. The doctor says, yeah. She says, well, that's my nephew. It's my brother-in-law. That is my sister. So I'm going to be there. And my son's grandmother then walked into the room. So the doctor looks again. The doctor's like, well, who's going to be there? And I told the doctor, I said, listen, look, you keep asking the same question over and over again. The ride is already here. You did already did the car seat test. We're all going out this hospital and we're all going home. So unless you have no other questions, the discharge papers have already been charged. So at the end of the day, we go home. And everybody looked at me and was like, what's wrong? I said, first of all, as long as my son don't walk out this hospital and his mom don't walk out this hospital, I'm not walking out this hospital. We walking out this thing together. So after all that was said and done, they let us go home. And now if you turn if I say 13 years later, I'm a healthy 13-year-old boy that is well taken care of, well mannered. He's in school. He's flourishing, even though the fact that he has yes, that he has two disabled parents. So I need for the medical people in this world, these doctors, to stop sitting there saying that just because the parents are disabled, that we cannot teach our kids to live a full-fledged life because we can and we
Yeah,
do.
that's crazy. I definitely agree with you on that note. That's wild. That is freaking wild.
Um, so so it's people don't what this world doesn't realize. Yes, when you are disabled and you have children, our children help us in so many ways and bring out the best of us in so many ways. It's like they help us flip a switch and imaginary switch that our children don't know that we have. And we're like, okay, game time. We got to do this, this, and this. All right, I got to do this. All right, I got that. Doctors need to understand that us as disabled parents and us as being disabled individuals, we are so much more than a disability. And people need to
Definitely.
start.
And that's one thing I feel like needs to be understood
Mhm,
no matter what. And I feel like it's so ignored because you gotta be this regular perfect person, which
mhm.
doesn't even freaking exist. So I just don't understand. Nobody will ever
But
understand.
but like I'm not-
Period.
like I ask everybody else, I'm gonna ask you this question. And
But
this question that I ask everybody, and they look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm gonna ask you, what is normal to you?
what is normal to me? The way I live my life,
Hmm.
the way I go about things,
Hmm.
the way I try to put me into kind of every situation.
That's your normal, right?
Yeah, that's
So
my normal.
okay, so here's the crazy thing. Somebody says that, oh, I'm normal this, I'm normal that, but like I tell everybody, there is no normal. What you just described is your normal, but in this big vast world that we have, there is no normal because everybody has a disability, whether it's seen or
Yeah,
unseen.
I got a
Everybody.
great answer for you. The way we talk,
Hmm.
the way we shit, the way we
Hmm.
piss,
Hmm.
and the way we bleed. There you go.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's that. Now that I can consider normal because we all have to do those things one way or another. We all do them differently, but we all have to do them one way or another. You know, if you had to
You don't have to pause it.
if you had to give advice to a parent that is disabled that you did not know that you came across
Yeah.
just by seeing them, what advice would you give them?
Always keep your head up. Never think you're not doing enough. You're doing as well as you can.
Hmm.
When the nights or the days get crazy,
Hmm.
just now, because it could be 5 times worse, or
Hmm.
it could be extremely excruciating.
That is
So
true.
always believe in yourself and hold your baby close. And
Mm.
always know that bond is going to go 2 times as far as you think it right now.
That is so true. That is so true. Yes, yes, yes. Um, so I'm gonna give you a chance that I've asked you questions. I'm gonna give you a chance to turn it around and ask me some questions.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's fair because, like, on here, they just see us communicating. They
No,
don't
no,
know
no.
how well we know each other. So,
That is true, but listen, you can shoot the questions, I'll answer 'em.
okay, let me see. I'm gonna try to hit you with something I have never asked.
Okay.
Uh, uh, do you feel like you would travel out of the country with your child just to get the experience?
Yes, I would. I would
Okay,
do it.
now what if it's like Mexico?
I would do it. I would do it
Okay,
because, and the reason why I would do it, I would do it because I would want to see what's the difference between the way my lifestyle is being disabled
yeah,
versus over in a whole nother country. So what I may consider. as being having a good lifestyle, as being a person with a disability. Over in Mexico, they might not feel the same way.
Yeah, they might
So
not.
when I go over to Mexico, my first thing that I'm going to want to know is how can I help? How can I make a change? How can
Yes,
I
yes.
help a person who is disabled who feels that's over in Mexico and feels discouraged about having a disability? Because at the end of the day, even though I'm disabled, I've had my moments where I felt discouraged. I felt like, man, I'm disabled. Ain't nobody ever gonna want to talk to me. Ain't nobody ever gonna want to do this. Ain't nobody ever gonna want to do that. All the only thing that somebody's gonna see is the fact that I walk funny, that I fall a lot, or that I use a power wheelchair to get around. That's all they're going to see. But as time went on, times have changed. And not everybody sees that. Some people do have a genuine heart and do see you as a person. So
I agree.
me traveling outside, it's not only me traveling outside of the US and traveling in Mexico wouldn't only be
On your foot. I don't want to.
an experience, it would be a lifelong experience and a lifelong teaching moment because just as well as
Okay, we're
I
not
can
doing
learn
that.
just as well as they can learn something from me, I can learn something from them. It's a teachable moment to where you could teach a person over in Mexico that's disabled that don't feel like they don't know what to do when it comes to their disability, or also maneuver when it comes to their disability, and they can teach you something that you can bring back to the States. So traveling outside the country with your children and being disabled is a teaching moment, because one thing my mom used to always tell me is you never stop learning. And that is so true. You never stop learning to the day you actually take your last breath. That is so true. Um I and also too, when it comes to being a parent in general, I feel as though we have to look at, especially being a parent and being disabled, we have to go back to our parents sometimes and hey mom, hey dad, well, what did you do? Like, I got a prime example. My
No,
son
wait, hold on,
was
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. We bringing that into today's conversation?
I mean, we can touch on it. We don't have to bring it
Oh
fully.
shoot! Oh
And
shoot! Oh shoot! Okay, go ahead.
like I'm gonna give you a prime example. Like when my son was a kid, my son was a baby actually. I couldn't get him to stop crying. So my mom said, "Well, what are you doing, son?" I said, "Mom, I'm home. Your grandson won't stop crying." She said, "Well, pack a bag, come over my house for a couple hours. I know what's wrong." I looked at my mom like, "You know what's wrong?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I had three of y'all." So I'm the middle child. I have a younger brother, and I have about three older sisters. Um, I took my son over to my mom's house, which is his grandmother. She says, "Go look in the kitchen." I go look in the kitchen. She said, "Bring me a bottle." I bring her a bottle. She says, "Well, bring me a bottle, bring me the cereal, and bring me his milk." She said, "Well, put a pot of water on. Don't let it get too hot." So I said, "Okay." I did that. She mixed the cereal together. She mixed the milk together, shook it up, stuck it in the microwave for about 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. I say 10 seconds. Tested it to see if it was warm. It was to the room temperature the way he could drink it. The next thing I know, he's sitting there, drink that whole bottle, and he slept the rest of the day away. And I'm like, "Mom, what you do?" She said, "Son." I said, "Yes." And this is what I call a teachable moment. She said, "Well, it's time for you to start reading your son cereal." I said, "What?" It's to start giving him cereal. So his belly was full. He went to sleep and he slept for a long time. I said, "You know what? Thank you, mom." So I do believe that, yes, when we have children, it is okay to go back to our parents because they laid the groundwork and the foundation for us to become parents. So we have to go back sometime. We might not want to go back for other reasons and other personal reasons, but sometimes we got to go back. And that's just to learn to pick up. You ain't got to pick up everything, but that is just to learn and to pick up tidbits of the foundation of being a parent.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Now that we have brought parents into the scenario,
Um,
I want to go back to a conversation I know I had with you and ask, do you feel like you are your parent? I mean, you are your mother in a way.
yes.
And
Not all the way, but I have carried with me some of the things that she has done, some of the things she has taught me. Yes, I do feel like I am my mom. I'm the male version of my mom. I mean, not a lot, but a little bit. You know, not much, but a little bit. But the things she has taught me, has showed me, yes, I believe I have carried it with me to raise my son to the best of my ability as being a disabled father. Yes.
I want to dig a little deeper. Okay, have
Okay.
you ever been hit with the who's better with the children? I mean, with your siblings.
No.
Okay, so it's like a flaws and all. Like I love you no matter what.
Yep. I was always told that. I was always told I love you no matter what, no matter what it was.
Or are you your mother's only disabled child?
Yes.
Um. Okay. And dealing with that, how did that make you feel as a child?
Um. Wow. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna answer. And dealing with it as a child, sometimes I felt less than. Sometimes I felt unworthy. Sometimes I felt like I was unloved. But I felt that way because I had a disability. I was never to a point where it was never to a point where my mom didn't love me, but I felt like I was unloved because I had a disability. It was the, hey mom, why am I like this and my brother and my sisters are not like this? But I walk like this and I gotta ride a bike like this and I have to walk with crutches. Why do I have to have all this stuff and my brother and my sisters don't? So it did come to a point where I didn't like myself. It came to a point where honestly, when I was younger and I didn't like myself, I wanted to off myself. But, you know, that was only because I was trying to figure out who I was. I was a young man, I was disabled. I got teased. Um, did I make friends? Yes. But 85% of the time I was teased. You know, so that shaped me into the person that I am today. Having my mom there and always telling me, get up, keep it moving, don't let nobody talk about you. You are who you are. You are Brandon. You are still special. You are still this. You are still that. It shaped me into the person that I am today. Not only did my mom shape me to the person that I am today, my older sister played a big role in that too. Because she played as my protector when I was younger. Couldn't nobody hurt her younger brother. Um, and it's like still till this day, at the age that me and my sister are, we're still close and we're still tight.
That's oh my god. See, and this is why I say this conversation gotta wait till tomorrow on my night. Cause I wanna dig deep, deep,
Oh, we,
deep,
we, we
deep
that,
down.
listen, listen,
Yeah.
listen. That
I
that
need
that we
I done been through some stuff in it. My experiences,
hmm we can definitely dig deep tomorrow. Yes, we definitely can. That was just a little bit
yeah.
of what it's like to be.
And one more question I kinda wanted to tease you on a little bit.
Oh
Uh do
yeah.
you do you have your passport?
No, I'm actually working
What
on that.
now would you consider your son his passport?
Yes.
And say if I just randomly hit you up one day like, hey, come on, let's go to Bali. How would you respond?
I would go. First of all, I would go because I've never been. that'll be an experience of a lifetime for me, and I cherish experiences of a lifetime. I mean, I've had so many different experiences when it comes to traveling. Um, I'm like I said, I'm part of and I know a lot of people might not you know this, but the world doesn't know this. I'm part of a grassroots organization, it's Philly Adapt. Then I'm also part of another grassroots organization. It's called National Adapt, and that's where we are. It's National Adapt is a bunch of activists from all over the United States, different cultures, different parts of the world. We and it's like we touch down in one state.
Yeah, I
We
was
f-
gonna ask you for like your information because I was gonna put it under like the description, but
I'm
since you
sure.
said, go ahead and do your thing
Sure.
then. But
No, I still give it to you. I still get the information and give it to you. That's just some of the stuff that I also do. I'm also also play wheelchair basketball. So I don't have my jersey with me right now, but I do play wheelchair basketball. And the wheelchair basketball that my friend that I grew up with in the sandbox, him and his wife, Shanita and Eric Young, started a nonprofit wheelchair basketball team. This is actually my second year on the team. Um, I like it because, and here's a couple of reasons why I like it. It keeps me moving. It keeps me motivated. It gets me out the house. I'm not sitting around. I can bump on a log. It's an exercise regimen for me. You know, um, I not only get to have fun with a friend that I've grown up with, laugh and joke and travel with, but I also get to meet other disabled people, other disabled athletes. So traveling for me, to answer your question, if I was to travel to Bali, I would not have an issue traveling with it. I would go.
okay, and with that being said, I want to get okay. You flew before, right?
Yeah, I flew out. Oh my
Okay,
God, I done
I
flew
want
so
to hear
much.
your perspective on the flight and the flight attendants when you gotta get in that chair and
Okay.
go down out.
Okay, you want to give my perspective on that?
Yeah.
Getting in an aisle chair. See, okay, those aisle chairs are pretty small, pretty tight. Yeah. So my perspective on that, and I feel as though it's like this: if you can walk on a plane and you don't need an aisle chair, do it. But if you
Yeah.
have to use it, if you have to use the aisle chair to get on a plane, do that too. I think that the flying on airways needs to be more disabled friendly. Um, they need to be more inclusive. Because flying on the airways, I feel as though they're not inclusive. They're only inclusive to, let's say, able-bodied people
Yeah.
and pets. I feel as though that the airways need to have a seminar with people who are disabled of all walks of life in the disabled culture and in the disabled community because they don't. I also, uh, I also think that they need to have a seminar on how to treat people's equipment that they use when they're flying because the equipment that we use the equipment that we use is very very expensive. So
Hmm.
when it breaks, as a person with a disability and is on a set income, we don't have the money to fix it. We have to go through insurance, and that's a whole different ball game that we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about. So I just feel as though that when we are flying, there has to be more inclusiveness when flying.
That I definitely agree. And I always wonder because I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I've been in every form of transportation, but a boat. A boat, I just will not do. I'm sorry, I just won't do it.
I've been on
But
a boat. I've
but no,
actually,
because like like how on the bus they got that first section of like seats for
yeah,
the disabled.
yeah, we
Why
have them here
the
in Philly.
plane
Yeah.
is like that? be thinking like, what the hell the planes in like that? That's crazy.
Um, I don't know, but I do know when they actually trying to figure out a way where people could actually get on the airplane in
Mm-hmm.
their mobility devices instead of having your mobility device go underneath the plane. So they are actually trying to. It's going to take some years. We probably be old and gray when it happened, but it's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
it's going to take some years that they're trying to figure out how can we get the motorized scooters, the motorized wheelchairs, the walkers, and all that actually on the plane with the patrons instead of actually sticking them in the cargo bay. Because
yeah,
I'm actually going to give you a story that happened to me. It happened not just happened to me, but it happened to um my national adapt activist, a national adapt activist from Philly, we were actually flying to El Paso, Texas. Um, we got on the plane, got seated, got loaded. They took everybody's medical device, the wheelchair, the walker. They took it down and put it underneath the cargo bay. So as we sitting on the plane, we're waiting to take off. Now, mind you, we are already on the plane and we are already 2 hours behind to take off. Mm. I don't know if you ever had this happen to you, but the captain of the plane gets on the plane and says, "Well, I'm not taking off with these wheelchairs." And he didn't personally pull us to the side. He says it over the loudspeaker. So so we like so as we sit on this plane and we sit on the tarmac waiting to take off,
we got some
um,
else.
he says, "Well, I'm not taking off the plane with the wheelchairs because it's too many wheelchairs." But what the pilot didn't know is we flew with that many wheelchairs before. We flew like that. So what we ended up having to do was get everybody had to deplane. We felt so embarrassed. We telling the passengers that's on the plane, "Oh, we're so sorry. We delayed y'all flight." And as we're getting off the plane, the passengers started cheering us on. And we're like, "Wait, what?" She was like, "Listen," they was like, "Listen, don't be upset. Y'all gotta be right to fly just like we do." So what ended up happening was we ended up having to fly into Chicago, get on a whole nother plane, fly out of Chicago, go around, and then fly into Texas. When we was on a straight flight into Texas. So this is why I say that the airways need to have more inclusiveness when it comes to disabled parents, teachers, anybody that's disabled flying. It has to be much more inclusiveness. It has to be more of y'all just need to have a big old seminar. And I think it needs to be in the TSA bylaws that they follow bylaws, and I believe that they need to follow that. Is to be it just has to be in there because once you have the inclusiveness and you learn about people flying with disabilities, it would make flying for us, the patrons who are disabled, it would make it so much more easier. Um, so that's my point of view on that. That they have to do that in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, and I just want to give my little sarcastic input on that you said that one day, one day, and look, I said this years ago, and now, like literally now, I
Mhm.
seriously really want to do it. I
Right.
want to get a group of friends
Uh-huh.
that's wheelchair bound, disabled bound, however you put it.
Uh-huh.
Book a trip. We gonna celebrate. We gonna do whatever we do.
Uh-huh.
When I say we're the only people on this flight, we're
Uh-huh.
the only people on the flight. And tell me that won't make no statement.
You know what that would do? Because I would tell you something. You know what that would actually do? That would actually have a that would be an uproar. And I'm gonna tell you why it would be an uproar because you know how when you board the plane, the guy that comes along with the wheelchair and he's like, do you know where you guys are going? And you're like, yeah, they be like, yeah, yeah, I know where I'm going. So you get on the plane and you do all of that, and they would not know what to do having a bunch of disabled people from all walks of life jumping on the plane. They wouldn't know what to do. They'd be like, oh, and they would be calling in. Well, here's what we're gonna do now. What they would do if that ever happened, they would probably move the other people off the plane and say, this is your flight to take y'all straight there. That's what would
Okay,
happen.
I get that, but then I ain't gonna lie. Just to say, it being a tremendous amount of us, and we
Mhm.
actually about our business. Like shit, we all got this flight. We all that man. I'm telling you, just to say it is funny, but the meaning behind it will speak so much.
It would be so it would be you would get. I'm gonna tell you something. If we ever did something like that,
Yeah,
the big response that you would get that would actually get pushed all the way up to
no.
the media. That would really get pushed all the way up to the media. I'm not even gonna hold you um because I know
But
prime example in May I have to fly. I literally I don't have to fly, but I know in May I'm gonna be going out of the city. Um
okay, yeah, but real talk, I really want to do that. Now it don't gotta be 50 million of us on one flight. No, of course. I mean, yeah, that's like a statement. That's still something I want to do in that aspect. But let alone just getting a group of us to go have fun and go celebrate.
oh
Cause
yeah.
come on, nobody has ever tell me a time once. Cause I know there's never been one time I've ever seen, experienced, read about any of that of a
Mhm.
group of disabled folks just going to enjoy their life. I've never heard it. Never
Uh,
once.
that's a whole different subject that we can talk about on a whole
I
different
mean, I
day.
mean, we can go on a dinner day. We can
Yeah,
plan a
yeah, right,
whole
right,
week.
right, right. We, do that's a whole different subject that we would actually have to sit down and actually like sit down because that takes a lot of planning to do. So
Yeah,
that's a whole that just brought up a whole different subject for me that I want to talk about on a whole other different topic
yeah, and
when
I
we
want to go
convene.
skydiving. I want to pet an elephant. I want to do a lot of stuff
But
for
that
real.
goes
So
but
whenever
see
that day come, I'm all
mhm.
for it. I'm
But
all
see
for it.
that goes back to where this world thinks that us as disabled parents and as disabled people can't live our life, and we actually can live a full-fledged life. We
We
can.
definitely can.
You know,
Definitely can.
we can live a full-fledged life. We can listen, it's so much that
It,
we can do as disabled people. I'm gonna just leave that right there. Because that'll
I'm gonna
open
just
up a
say, I'm gonna just say one little thing. The only thing that like thinking about it and having so much just excitement. The
Mhm.
only thing that kind of just hit my bubble a little bit is those people that don't really see your vision, how you see your vision, and that goes into what you just said. So I get it. I get it.
Mhm. But you
I get
also
it.
got to understand one thing. Nobody's ever going to see anybody.
And now you cutting out. What? That's the time warning us. It's an hour. It's an hour. Ah, wait. I just mute myself and wait for him to come back. I'm starting to think, is it our Wi-Fi when they be doing this, like tripping like this? Is it Wi-Fi or what? Cause I just be thinking like, hold on, you were just in, but now you just blacked out. Like, huh? I'm gonna give him 2 more minutes. If he ain't tap back in a matter of 2 minutes, I'm gonna just cut it short. Okay, he just said hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what that's because everybody was ringing my phone, and when that happens, it just messes up the whole life.
Your
Um,
line is short now. Okay, okay.
everybody wants to be calling my phone when we doing live. But before we close off this incredible, wonderful live that we've because we got more coming for y'all tomorrow. And this we got a whole week of wonderful topics and wonderful conversations. But Tia, I got one question for you before we close our live. Not a question, but I would like you to leave our viewers with, I'm not gonna say words of encouragement. I'm gonna say I want you to leave them with something, leave them with something that you tell yourself every day as a woman with a disability.
Okay, and I will look in the camera because I know when I do this whole little thing I do, I be looking in the mirror.
Uh-huh.
You know you, trust you. Always believe in yourself. You are the jewel. You are the diamond. Don't never think nothing beneath that.
Hmm.
And once you got your main focus, everybody else might doubt it. But as long as you believe it, you golden.
Well,
Always believe in you. I love you. Let's do it.
hey, well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I want everybody, listen. It's Super Bowl Sunday. You know, you got the Kansas City Chiefs playing and my Philadelphia Eagles playing. It's about to go down, y'all. It's about to go down. So, on that note, T have left y'all with some words of wisdom and words of encouragement, ladies and gentlemen. We will see y'all on the other side with some more great topics tomorrow at the same time. So guess what? This is what I want y'all to do. Grab y'all popcorn, pull up a chair, and get ready. Cause it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready for tomorrow. I
Nah,
don't
they
think
ain't ready
they.
for tomorrow. They ain't ready
But
for
like I
tomorrow.
said,